These next 3 books are what helped me go from broke to multi-millionaire. There's a lot of people out there who believe that you do not have to read to be able to make a lot of money. And that is because there's a lot of people out there who've actually made a good amount of money not having to really read. But if you really look into a lot of the most successful people out there, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, for example, even Elon Musk, all 3 of them advocate reading. And all 3 of them have said that there's been times that they are reading for days without stop. So a lot of the biggest earners out there are always advocating reading because reading helps stimulate your mind. And when your mind is being stimulated is where you can become creative. When you are creative is where then you're able to create, whether it be starting a new business or even just getting ideas that you can implement within your business or implement within your craft. Now, I'll tell you this, I've never been much of a reader. Unluckily, I didn't have a lot of the right people around me at the time, or at least I didn't realize it, that were telling me, or at least guiding me to telling me what I needed to do, right? Or what I needed to read or where I should be focusing on. I really just had people pulling me from different directions, and one of those was not reading at all. But there is some good to it, right? There was this one friend who actually told me about reading one of my most, until this day, favorite books of all time. And that is Think and Grow Rich. Now, when you first read the book, you might think, this book's pretty simple. There's not really anything crazy in there. Like, what's really the purpose behind it, right? They're very basic principles, but they are principles that if you apply effectively, you will become an expert within anything that you want to do. And that's just 100% fact, right? And I'm not going to get into every single detail of the book, but I will say this. One of the key things of Think and Grow Rich, which was written by Napoleon Hill, is the art of having such a deep desire to be able to do what you want to do, right? When you have that desire and you're able to visualize what is it that you want to accomplish, where is it that you want to go, and how you want to do things, and you're able to implement that fire of what you want to do, it is a lot easier to then apply different skill sets that you can either learn through the book or other skill sets that you have learned because you are motivated by that desire. Reading that book and understanding desire and understanding how thinking is such a strong and powerful tool that can help you get there is honestly what changed my life. I'll say this, when I read the book, it doesn't mean I became a millionaire right away. I did not implement things right away. I did not start learning things right away. It actually took me a long time, right? But the fact that that book just gave me the thought and the ideas and the desire to be able to want to become a millionaire, it was so powerful that it kept me thinking about that at all times, right? And again, there might have been days or weeks where I wouldn't think about that desire, right? But knowing that that desire was always there and knowing that I can just tap into it at any given moment was what kept me going along, getting off rail and then being able to jump back on, right? The ability to be able to jump back on and be able to focus on that was what helped me really get to this point that I am at now, right? So if you have that desire and you implement properly, you can very easily accomplish anything that you want. The next book that helped me a ton was Atomic Habits by James Clear. When you first think about it, when you think about habits, right? What are really habits? Habits are really just things that you do every single day without really thinking about, right? Let's say, for example, you're driving to work. You wake up, you take a shower, you change, you get in your car, and you drive to work. When you're driving to work, do you really think about where you're going or do you just drive, right? I think 90% of the time, we tend to not really think where we're going. It's all automatic, right? It's become a habit at that point. Our brain knows what to do, when to do it almost all the time, especially within habits, right? When you do something so many times, if you shoot a basketball 100 times a day, you're most likely gonna get good at it, right? It's gonna get to the point where you're not really having to think about it. You're just gonna shoot the basketball, right? So when you're driving, you're doing the exact same thing. You're not really thinking about it. It just becomes a habit. So what I got from this book, I honestly wish I could have learned at a very early age. If you are able to build habits within anything, then obviously that anything becomes easy. Now think about that. What if you can do that with anything? Well, you can. And that's one of the things Atomic Habits teach you, is that a lot of the times people are trying to go for that home run, right? They're trying to accomplish things really fast versus trying to get really good at doing that thing consistently, right? And that's where many people fail, is that it's not about who can get there faster. It's not about who can do the most, but who can do it longer, more consistently, right? The longer you can do it, the more consistent you can do it, the more likelihood you are to outbeat your competition. Let's say, for example, reading. Again, I've never been the biggest reader, but what actually helped me become a better reader is simply by building habits within it. And how did I do that, right? It's really just taking small steps towards those end habits that you want to do. So what did I do? Let's say, for example, I didn't really want to read, right, a book a day or even a book a week. A book a week could be challenging to a lot of people. So what did I do? I said, okay, how about I just read 1 page a day, right? That's pretty easy. I think most people can do that. Or read 1 page a day. Do it for 7 straight days to the point where, like, I know that I have to go over there, grab the book, sit down, and read my page, right? But at that point, it's already building that habit. I'm rewiring my brain to think like, okay, I just gotta grab the book, gotta open the book, I gotta sit down, and I gotta start reading. Eventually, it'll get so easy that now you can say like, okay, let me read 2 pages a day, 3 pages a day, 5 pages a day. So it is a lot easier to do that versus saying like, hey, I'm gonna read 10, 20 pages a day, right? Is it possible? 100% it's possible. We can all do it. And if anything, it might even be a better habit that you build. But what you want is longevity, and what you want is consistency. The next book that I would highly recommend, again, another book I wish I would have read when I was younger, is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. So growing up, I was super timid, I was super quiet. I wouldn't say that I didn't have friends, but I also wasn't the most popular person. I simply just didn't know how to influence people. I just didn't know how to talk to them. So because I didn't know how to talk to them, I just wasn't the best connector. I wasn't the most emotional. So I couldn't really get people to do, X, Y, and Z and be able to either help me or help themselves do really anything, right? So when I first read this book, it just made so much sense. Like from a psychological perspective, all people really ever want is to be able to connect, right? And if you're able to do that with your friends, with your colleagues, with your family, or maybe even a potential mentor, right? If you can show them and influence them to become your friends or to be able to do X, Y, and Z, then you can actually have a lot more of an outcome within what you're trying to create than anybody else. Now you might think, why would somebody do something that you want them to do? Well, it's actually pretty simple. People crave the opportunity to feel important. If you're able to do that, they will more likely than not do that thing, right? If you're able to make them feel like they're important, like you love them, they're the best thing out there, right? It is a lot easier to influence somebody to do something versus not doing any of the other things, right? If you just show up to somebody and say, hey, I want you to clean this, will they clean it? Right? Let's say you ask your mom, or let's say you ask a friend, let's say you have kids and you ask your kids like, hey, I need you to clean your room. Like, are they gonna do it? I mean, yeah, they probably will because you're your parents, you're gonna force them. But what if you can influence them to want to do it on their own, right? What if you can talk to them in a way that it empowers them, where they feel important, where they feel loved? There's probably a higher chance that they will do it a lot faster than the other way around, right? So again, even if you think back to having your own business, right? And you have your certain employees, will your employees do what you're asking them to do? More likely than not, they probably will, right? You're paying them. But what if you didn't really have to try to tell them what to do? What if they were so into how good of a boss you are, right? And how good you make them feel? Do you not think they would do that a lot more and a lot more consistent and maybe even a lot better, right? So when you give people that feel of importance or of love, they are more likely than not to be able to do those things, and they are more likely than not to become better friends to you. The last thing that I would add on to that is if you are able to appeal to people's interest, it makes things a lot easier. And I think from a selfish standpoint, which a lot of us tend to be, is we tend to be more I, and talk to people in a way that benefits us, but it doesn't really benefit them, right? So if you're able to learn the art of being able to appeal to people's interest and show how this would be beneficial to them, it makes things a lot easier to be able to get them to do things for you. The reason why you're getting that back in return, the reason why people are able to do that is because you gave something back to them. You gave them love, you gave them peace, you gave them belief, you gave them something that makes them feel so passionate towards you or towards the thing that you guys are creating that is a lot easier for them to want to do versus not do. Look guys, if you guys have not read any of these study books, I highly recommend you read them. Honestly, I personally try to read these books once a year. Sometimes I'm not able to, sometimes I just skim through them. Even if you're not able to read the full book, there's different summaries out there that you can read for each of the books. You can literally read all 3 of them within one day. And honestly, if you're just able to read that outline and really understand the concepts behind it, it will 100% change your life. If there's any other books out there that you guys love, that you guys think have made a huge impact in your life, please leave it in the comments below, because I'm always looking to read different books, really just to pick up new skill sets, right? The more skills that I develop and the better I get at certain things, just like you guys as well, the better along your life will be, the easier your life will be, and again, the more money you can make, if that is what you want to do. At the end of the day, I really hope you guys like this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And again, if you guys are looking for passive income and you want to partner with me and my team, please click the link below and my team will contact you guys. We have a full automated business where you guys do not have to take care of anything. We literally have all the logistics, infrastructure that is required to build an Amazon store for you. We have multiple warehouses all across the country. We have hundreds of suppliers that we're buying inventory from. And if you guys want to partner with somebody who's been in the field for 5-10 years, please click the link below and somebody in our team will contact you guys. See you guys later.